All right, we are live on air. We have not done a live stream for quite a while. I am Elliot, and I created the YouTube channel Freelance Duck Hunting, and I've got with me today my dad, who you guys probably know. We call Fumblemitts, Dustin Baden from Marsh Rat Outdoors. So today we're going to be talking about late season. The main focus we're going to be talking about is late season hunting. Any questions? Start with your questions about late season hunting or any of the videos that you've seen recently. And then we can also field just questions in general. But I want to talk about ice. I want to talk about anything late season. I want to talk about river. That's the topic I really want to get into because we've taken a little bit of criticism on some of the videos because go into a river and flush ducks and geese off of a hole and set up and hunt there. It makes field hunters angry because they think you're busting the roost and ruining all their hunting. So I want to talk about that too. Pile on in here, guys, and let's get to going. So let's start with Dustin, because I know you have put out a couple videos lately. I've been so busy. I breezed through the one where you guys shot 20 ducks. I guess Louisiana #2.
Yeah, we did a good job in Louisiana, actually. A lot of my film is still in Louisiana, and a lot of the hunts I just didn't take it out there. But we did fairly well. We didn't kill we killed a few pintail. We didn't kill any mallards. We mostly killed a lot of divers. But I mean, every day was just a smackdown of at least 20. And I probably should have brought my camera more. I got one veteran hunt that we went on a speck-belly goose hunt in a field, and I'm waiting on that footage to be mailed to me to make a video for that. That's a pretty good one. We got a lot of footage of like a bunch of veteran guys hanging out and then going into the hunt. So that's going to be a good one.
So how many hunts would you say you've been on in the past 2-3 weeks? You were in Louisiana for a while, and then you came back to Oklahoma, right?
Right.
So how much have you been hunting Oklahoma? Because there's supposed to be loads of birds in Oklahoma.
I hunted this past weekend. We hunted when the freeze came. We did fairly well. That was the Florida hunt with some guys that I just ran up on from Florida. And then we did terrible Sunday. We just didn't pick the right spot. We went there Saturday evening and looked at some ducks, and then Sunday they just weren't there. So we were hunting a lake. So if you ain't in the right exit, they want to go into those coves, you're not going to get anything, you know.
So has it been cold enough that your big lakes have frozen up, or what is all on your hardest freeze down? What all is frozen up down there?
Wednesday, I think, was our hardest freeze last week, and everything was frozen up probably, I would say, when you come off the bank into our main lakes, it was frozen. You could walk all the way up to probably a good 500 yards frozen on the big lakes. So it was frozen up pretty good.
And what about the rivers? Were all the rivers locked?
I don't even know. I mean, the rivers that I passed by to go hunting, they were frozen, but I've never we don't really have like a big river like y'all have, you know.
Yeah. Well, up here, we don't typically once a year we get a really hard lockdown freeze, but we go a lot of years where our lakes don't freeze. And this year the lakes have completely gone shut. In fact, most of them are still frozen. But with this warm up, we've got the rivers are pretty much open up now. We got to a point where those were pretty much closed too, other than we have a split here in Kansas where you can't shoot, well, in this part of Kansas, where you can't shoot ducks for a couple of weeks to the south to shoot them. So that's when we got into the geese on the river. And we were basically just finding pockets of geese on the river on the ice where we could safely get to them and try to get at them. And that was kind of our method and strategy. And as it's warmed up, we were hoping that the marshes would open back up, but they haven't. So we're heading out tomorrow, and Fumbles did a bunch of scouting. What do you see today, Fumbles, as far as the ice conditions?
Ice conditions, the marshes, as far as I can tell, the marshes are all still frozen up. I mean, they're getting slushy and everything, and right along the edge, they're starting to thaw. But I talked to a guy who had hunted 2 different marshes at this one lake this morning, and both of them were frozen up. And As far as the lakes are concerned, they're mostly frozen over, but they're getting to be bigger and bigger pockets of open water. But as far as how to get to them, that's really difficult. There is one lake that we hunt occasionally late in the year, and it has quite a bit open water, including this point that we hunt. So, and we can walk into that point. We can't boat into it because there's too much ice. So it's see right now. If we had another week to get everything, the marshes and everything melted out, we would probably have a bonanza, but it's just frozen up too hard for us.
Yeah, we were really hoping that the marshes would open up, because when we get these south wind days and the marshes open up, I'm pouring back up from Oklahoma and Texas. I mean, just the biggest mass of ducks that we see is late January under the right conditions. So right now, we were hoping we were going to get that. This is our last weekend. Now, goose season is open on into February, but I will probably call it quits on the end of this duck weekend here, where the duck hunting is closed. So we're going to hunt tomorrow on Saturday. And so we had a lot of eyes on a lot of places today. I know Fumbles went scouting, went out. I had another buddy that you guys have not seen. He was out looking around. So we had eyes almost on the rivers, on the marshes, on the lakes. And so we boiled it down. We've got two possibilities. We can either get on the river, accessible, which it wasn't before, run up the river. And the way we do this is we show up there right before, about half an hour before shooting time, put on the river and start heading up or down the river and wait till you flush a big group of birds and then set up, which is successful. Or we've got a lake that Corn was at, and he, right towards the end of the day, he saw lots and lots and lots of ducks at this lake set up there. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to hit the lake in the morning, and then depending on how we do there, maybe hit the river the second day. I kind of think that's what we're going to be looking at doing. Dustin, is this your last weekend of ducks?
Yeah, it's definitely going to be the last weekend. So I took off work tomorrow to go so I can get 3 days in. I might do a few field goose hunts. I really like doing that. It's just I got to borrow the decoys to do it. But as far as my duck hunting, and like, I'm going to take a huge step. If I go on a goose hunt, it's going to be very, spur of the moment type deal. It's not going to be planned, and I'm not going to do it every weekend. So far, this is going to be the last weekend of the run of the year.
And Mo Outdoorsman made an interesting statement. He said, amazing what 2 hours south you guys has to offer in Kansas. Marshes are all open, no ice left down here. And it's not even 2 hours. 50 minutes south of where we hunt, all open, but with huntable marshes. And an hour and 15 minutes north, and everything's frozen. It's that way every single year. It's the same way. And us, which are on, well, they're an hour, but they're on our same latitude. I think it would be latitude or longitude. They're on our same north-south line, which would be latitude. And those marshes are locked. An hour and 15 minutes to the south, it's open. But the problem with that is that place gets so overrun with hunters. In fact, I posted about why people hate hunting public land. That place, Corn was down there today, and there was just wall-to-wall guys. So we don't really want to. Crazy. So we are basically right now right on the ice line. Birds will migrate north and south based on the ice line. And so we are right on the ice line. So over the next couple of days, we got about 50 degrees tomorrow and a hard south wind, receiving a significant Golden Boys blowing up my phone. We should be receiving a significant amount of ducks in the next couple of days. Whether they're coming from you guys or whether you get them from Texas or you see a clear out of ducks around this time. But I know here when we get ice start coming off, now the ducks are smart and they're cagey, but there'll be thousands of them around typically.
Yeah, I scouted a little bit this week at a whole new area. I'm hunting a whole new area this weekend. I don't know who hunts out there. It was the only place that was holding ducks all day. So I'm going to head out there and try to kill some at least for the end of the weekend. But like you said, them ducks are moving. Hopefully they don't move too late for y'all. You know, hopefully they don't start moving on Monday. You know?
Yeah. Cajun wants to know why we don't hit up the southern zones to kill them. Well, the reason is, Cajun, like I just said, the southern zones within shot of us, we typically do early January. Down there get so full of people, we try to avoid them. I don't want to go. Typically, I'll drive to an hour and a half, but if it gets farther than that, I really don't want to do it. And so that's why we're not hitting up those southern zones. I know that Fumbles has gone into Oklahoma. Fantastic hunts this time of year. How long has it been since you've been to Oklahoma, North Oklahoma, for those January hunts?
Oh man, it's been 7 or 8 years. I met this guy from Minnesota that comes down there every year, and I went down there a few years and hunted like 3 days with him, and we had some really good hunting. But I talked to him every year, and last year he was just telling me that place he was hunting is just overrun with hunters. It's something that I just wouldn't want to fight. So.
Yeah.
And this place can really be good when the water levels are right, and then not so good when they're not. But we've had some good hunts there. But you know, we're not much of field hunting. I mean, if you want to talk field hunting, you probably don't want to get our expertise on it.
Yeah.
We're water hunters.
Yeah, and I mean, I wouldn't mind hunting fields a little bit more, but if I can choose the river versus laying in an ag field every single time, love the atmosphere of the river.
If you go out field hunting right now, like tomorrow morning, it's not going to freeze tonight, and those fields are going to be muddier than can be. And
yeah, that would be a nightmare.
Man, I carrying all your stuff into a muddy field and getting just covered with mud and everything is not my forte. So.
Yeah. And I see Michael Billington. Thank you for joining us. He is actually a patron over at Patreon. Thank you for coming, Michael. If you guys want to go check out what we have to offer at Patreon, there's tons of extra content, extra videos. So go on over there and take a look. You can join that for as little as $1 a month, and possibly even join us on some of these live streams. So do that. Speaking of, so now we're talking about ag fields versus the river, and there is some people feel that if you go into a river and hunt, you're basically hunting a roost, and that is something you absolutely should never ever do. I've had a couple comments lately of people really being pissed at us, seeing videos of us going into the river. I want to get you guys' take on it, but my response to that is river. It's public hunting. I really prefer to hunt there over an ag field. It seems kind of silly to me for some guy I don't even know to think that I should have a fantastic hunt where I shoot my limit just so that you can hunt the fields. It to me it seems crazy. And Fumbles, your camera is very blurry. If you could wipe off your lens, I don't know what the deal is, but
I don't know if
it's clear on mine.
Early, my wife says it's clear on hers, but it's not clear on yours. It's really
clear on mine.
Totally, no doubt. Dustin, have you heard any? You have any thoughts about that, about roost hunting in the river?
I don't know much about it, so I can't really get into it. But as far as I'm concerned, to me, I mean, I get their take on the whole, you know, hunting a roost and stuff like that. But at the same time, hunting's hunting. So if they're there and you're on the river and you're going to get them, I mean, that's hunting. I mean, when you watch geese, you're going to do two things. You're going to watch where they roost, where they fly to feed, and then where they fly back to get water. So you can say that you're cheating if you go hunt where they eat every day. I mean, that's pretty much saying the same. That's the same argument to me.
Yeah, and I don't get it at all. It doesn't make sense to me because, like, the hunt where we Aiden and Charlie and I, that was the best goose hunt of my entire life, and one of the best hunts of my life. It was so incredibly fun. I mean, that last goose I shot really hit him at 8 yards.
Right,
and it's like they're expecting me to say, you know what, there's some guy I don't know out in the field there. I better not go in there and have the hunt of my life so that guy can sit in an ag field and shoot a limit.
Right. Well, he was sitting in an ag field hoping they'd leave there to go feed his ag field. So who's to say who's wrong there? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it seems to me if a marsh with our boat and everything or a lake, we go in there until we find birds, right? We flush them, we set up our decoys, and we hope they'll come back. What's the difference? And okay, so we flush them out of that place. Sure. If we hunt that place several times in a row, they're not going to come back there. They're going to go someplace else. But let's say the other guy's over on another place and they flush from us over to him. And then they come to point C for the next night. They're still going to come to him the next day. I just don't, I'm no expert on river hunting versus, going to the field and everything, but I just don't see the deal. I just think that they're hunting a field and they don't want us messing with them at all.
Right.
And well, like Elliot says, I mean, it's public hunting. So if we get to the river first, that's our benefit. But when we flush them off, shouldn't they go to the guy in the field? And then they come back to the river that night, but a different spot. They'll still go back to that field the next day. It seems.
Yeah, my experience too is if you bust a bunch of geese on the river, they're not going to go far. And Nate and I were hunting. We moved them upriver like half a mile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know the other spot we just moved them at a half mile. Typically, they go about a half mile and just find a new spot. In fact, in the video with Charlie and Aiden and myself, birds downriver, half a mile just sitting there. So it's not like they leave. They're still in. I mean,
it's not like they left the country or something.
No, they typically go about a half mile river.
If they're
if that messes up your private land public hunting or private land hunting spot, I really don't care. That doesn't,
Let's just suppose that we leave them alone, and so the geese fly out to the field, and they're banging away at them there. They can run them out of the country just as fast as we can. So I mean, maybe they'll decide. Well, the geese decide, I don't think I want to even go back to the river or go back to that field. Let's move further north or something. I mean, if you're shooting at them, you're going to move them.
Right. And I think, the whole deal is he had them planned to come off that river and into his field to eat. And that's when he was going to slam down. So y'all just beat them to the punch. And whether you got in there and shot them or not, the geese are still going to feed the same where they started. They're going to feed that the day before. You didn't interrupt their feeding. You just interrupted what time they're going to leave that river.
And if they decide to go north or south, they go north or south because it's time to move or getting more pressure or something. It's just something that happens. Birds move around.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like Modern Wildman said, if you have a good field hunt with lots of birds, that field is done for those birds till new birds move in. So
exactly.
You're doing the same thing.
So Peter Letterer, this is a good question. I'm gonna let you handle this one, Dad. With the lack of success on the lease you bought, is it just best to save your money and hunt public? You want to kind of give a final rundown on our lease? Kind of what your thoughts are.
I can give a final rundown. I knew this area. I had hunted this area before with another friend years before. So I was really familiar with it. So when we got a chance to get a lease there, I thought, well, that should be a good place, man. That's a good area. But the bottom line is that we just got skunked. I mean, we didn't even go in there with any decoys in our guns.
We never hunted it. We did not hunt it once.
We did not hunt it.
We paid about $1,700 each and did not hunt it one time.
During teal season, I was there and checking that place at least twice a day. During October, I was there twice a day. During November, I was checking it every day, and there just weren't ducks there. And so it was, I won't say it's a ripoff. It was not worth it. I would not do it again. In the meantime, when could have been up at the lease, sitting there hoping we would get some. We were shooting our limit at a public place.
Right.
So, and I mean, the people that I talk to in that area, they say, well, some days, some years are good, some days are not, some years are not good. Well, hey, listen, I can have that on public land. So
right.
I'm done with the private leases. I mean, anything that costs me a bunch of bucks. Now, if I got a pond someplace and the guy wants $50 a year to hunt it, okay, that's worth it. But we spent $4,000. I spent hundreds of dollars in camping fees. We spent gas going up and down and working on it. Boy, was it not worth it.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the leading up to it and the work we did on it. I really enjoyed that, and I enjoyed the knowledge we gained from it.
I got a question.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Was there a lot of ducks? Go ahead.
Excuse me?
I was saying, was there a lot of ducks in that area? They just weren't coming to y'all's.
Yeah.
Or they were just.
Yeah. There's a refuge 5 miles away, and there were tens of thousands, 50,000 ducks there, 100,000 geese. And then there was a couple of public areas nearby, and they were shooting the crap out of them at those areas. So, boy.
Wait. I mean, could y'all change anything? I know y'all planned it. I know y'all, done y'all's research.
Well, there's a guy, an enforcement biologist that I've known for a long, long time. And he's been our enforcement guy where we hunt in central Kansas. And I was in touch with him sometimes weekly to asking him questions and everything. I mean, and this guy's a professional manager, okay? We did everything that he said to do, and still nothing. I mean, we planted millet. We kept the water out of the seed heads until they dropped. I mean, we did whatever disking of cattails we could do. We cut some with hand cutters. I mean, you name it, we did it.
And who knows? There may have been days when some ducks came down in there, but the fact is, we in November, which was really when we were planning on hunting in there. I mean, we were shooting limit after limit after limit of mallards. So,
yeah,
it was an afterthought. We were doing so well, it made the lease not. Getting skunked like crazy, I'd be really, really upset. But the fact that we were just pounding them like crazy really eased the pain quite a bit.
It eased the pain a lot. I mean, it was kind of, oh, well, that's money under the bridge. I'm shooting ducks, so I'm happy.
Yeah.
And I mean,
Larry Fry. Hey, Larry. Good. I'm glad you showed up, buddy.
You're going to take those risks.
I'm not sure if you know. He's who we hunted with that year. Larry Fry.
Yeah, I know who Larry is.
Yeah, he's a good guy. Heck of a shot. What were you saying, Dustin?
I think, anytime like me and my brother and I think one of my buddies, we're thinking about going in on lease when I get back to Louisiana next year. And it's a risk. And I mean, if you're willing to put that risk, you get the reward if it happens. You got fun that, hey, if it don't work out, it don't work out.
This is what I can tell you about that lease. Last year when we were having a horrible season, the guys that had that lease didn't shoot a single solitary duck during the month of November. And this year, when we're shooting the crap out of them, the guys that had the lease, which is us, did not shoot any ducks at that lease. So I'm really got a bum attitude about it.
Yeah, we didn't actually find out. I was contacted by a guy on Instagram because I started doing a couple of videos from the lease after we had paid and everything off season. This guy contacted me on Instagram. He's like, yeah, that was our lease last year. We had a good teal season. We did not shoot a single duck. That was the first sign of like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
Not good. But we had, it was like we had all these reasons why we thought that might be. The weather was terrible. We had a much better weather year this year. They didn't quite manage it properly and they flooded too much water in there too soon. That was our thought process on the whole deal.
We thought the guy that was seeding in the millet screwed it up and didn't do it right, which talking to him, I would say he didn't do it right, but it didn't make any difference either way.
Yeah. And, I'm leasing Mars, so we don't have to, plant all our stuff. I'm so close to the Gulf of Mexico. that if the water's high in the Gulf, then the water's going to be high in the marshes, and I'm going to have water. One day I might have 3 feet. One day I might have 3 inches. You know, you work the tide. On that end, like that end of it, I ain't got to worry about the planting and stuff like that. I just need to get the spot where the ducks want to be, type deal. And when I got back to Louisiana, I started walking those marshes, and I've been walking these, you know, flooded fields up here, and I'm like, I can walk through the marsh, man. In Louisiana marsh, I forgot how tough it is when you sink it up the waist deep. Oh, I should have brought the hero that day. But so I ain't got to worry about the planting and stuff like that because we ain't flooding, you know.
Sounds like you have to worry about whether you're going to have water or not.
Well, it's so close to the Gulf and the bayous run through there that you have to have a boat to even get anywhere near it.
Okay.
So I have water, you know.
Yeah. Well, we were pumping water.
Yeah.
So we
every day.
Water.
Every day.
It's nice.
And it can mess
it's really
up
nice
if we have
because we can drain it and then flood it, and you know it works really. Should work good. I mean, the thing is all set up the right way, but it just doesn't work.
Right.
Well, I think that was a pretty small hole too. I mean, I think that is one problem with that place. It's just, you know, if you doubled or tripled that size, it might really help. So
it was about 1.5 acres, but right across the road was this lake, which I thought we could draw some from that, but that didn't work either.
No, there's probably been some geese in there from time to time, I'm sure.
Probably. I've seen geese fly over, but I've never seen them land in there or caught them in there.
I know they shot a few geese in there last year. A few. So my name's Elliot. This is Freelance Duck Hunting, and I'm with Dustin Baden from Marsh Rat Outdoors. Make sure and check out. He's got a lot. This is his first year filming. He's got a lot of really cool things on there. You might want to check it out. It's Marsh Rat Outdoors, and this is all Fumblemitts. He's from the FDH crew. A quick live stream here tonight. We'll keep going probably another half an hour. I know we haven't had many questions, so hit us up with some questions, and we're just going to hit a few of those. Ryan Kreiser said, more luck in public land. The problem is as soon as it freezes, that's pretty much it. Late season geese when the lake is frozen. I mean, if you have geese on a frozen lake, you pretty much have to find them in fields. Out, follow them, and see if you can get permission. Because on a frozen lake, you're either going to pass shooting them coming out, or you're going to chase them, watch where they fly, and find fields that they're in.
I got about
Go ahead.
I got about 1,000 geese coming over my house right now. They come every evening. I can just hear them. They go down right in that field out there, and it's just in the middle of the town. Can't go find out land. Yeah. But go ahead.
Cole Gatter says, how old were your dogs? How long did you train them before taking them on a hunt? Cole, Izzy is 10. I bought her, I think around November. So she was not quite a year old before she went on her first hunt. So I started her at about 10 months. I started her at about 8 months. So you can, you get out there and get the training in 10 minutes a day, and they'll be ready to go. 10, 11, 12 months, no problem. You want to give a little quick background to Candy, Dad?
Yeah, I had a different experience with Candy. I didn't buy her. I didn't get her till she was a year old. And I started immediately with the obedience stuff and everything. But by the time she was about a year and a half, I decided to start introducing her to gunfire and very carefully, and come find out she was gun shy. So I was really concerned about her. So I talked to a few people, actually just some guy that I audited, but he had a little experience with it. And so I spent the next probably year and a half trying to train her not to be gun shy. And I got that done. And so, but my other dog, my old dog, had to keep working for an extra year and a half that she wouldn't have had to. And finally, the last time I went to, it was cold and she worked hard and she could hardly stand up after she was done. So I said, that's it for her. Now it's Candy's job. But So that was a really long process. But my other two dogs, I have sent to trainers for a couple months, and with lesser degrees of success. I've had to force fetch my former dog, Ebony. The trainer washed her out of force fetch. And so I had to take her home and force fetch her, which I had the time.
Can you give a quick description of what, don't go through the whole process, but just a quick definition of what force fetch is and why you would need to do it?
Well, with force fetch, a retriever is not born a retriever. They'll run out and catch whatever moves, and they'll play with it. So from there on, you have to teach them to bring it. And then force fetch is to get them to bring it that last 3 feet. You know, when a dog just comes out of the water and they drop it and they won't pick it back up, and you have to get out of your blind and walk over there and get it. That's what force fetch is for. They will bring it to hand. And so that's what that's all about. And it involves a little bit of discomfort for the dog, or a lot of discomfort, depending on what kind of a force fetch trainer you are. If you have your own dog, you can take it slow and easy and not be really rough on the dog. Because you've got more time. A trainer, you take it to a trainer and you're paying what, $600 a month, and you want that dog trained and you want it trained now. So when I got Ebony back, I took about 3 months to get her force fetch trained, which the trainer, I wouldn't want to spend that much time with the trainer. But with Candy, I force fetched her. Elliot force fetched Izzy. And
Izzy flew right through it. She got through it in all. Now I will say it didn't all fully transfer to the field, but it certainly did help. Now Izzy's so timid, and the interesting thing about training is that different dogs react totally different to it. So you've got dogs like Izzy, and I know that one of your dogs is this way. They'll just go on there as soon as you start pressure on their ear. You basically do a little apply pressure to their ear. And in dogs like Izzy, you don't have to apply much pressure at all, and she's just flipping over on her back. And if you put too much pressure on, you can actually, and then there's hard-headed dogs that I don't know how they react to it, but you got to put a lot more time and effort into it. But Izzy flew right through it. It just didn't all fully transfer to the field.
My first dog, it didn't matter how much pressure you put her under, she would never get intimidated. She would come right back and be all happy and everything. My second dog you had to be really careful how much pressure you put on her. And and that's what the trainer was doing. He was torturing her to try to get her to hold it and to jump for it and everything. And no matter how much he tortured her, she just would cry and thrash around. So when I got her back, I took it real slow and easy and applied less pressure, and we got through it fine. And she was a champion in HRC. So you just, like Elliot says, you have to adapt your training to your dog.
Yeah. I see Louisiana wetlands here. Man, if you want to check out some sweet duck hunting videos, go check out that guy's page. He only has about 1,500 subscribers, and his videos are like professional.
Yeah,
they're extremely cool. That's Louisiana wetlands. We were going to hunt with them. Remember, they were going to come up here. We're probably going to do a hunt at some point, and he's going to come film with us. But
do you know where at in Louisiana he hunts at?
I don't have any idea. It looks like timber from the stuff I'm seeing.
Okay, because Louisiana wetlands, I'm from Louisiana as well. I'm about to move back to Johnson Bayou, Louisiana, which is by Grand Chenier, southwest. So just wondering where you're, hunting at, where you're from.
Yeah, his videos are really professional. I mean, really professional.
Yeah, he gets the coolest drone footage. They took a trip to Alaska, and he's got this high quality drone, and the drone footage in Alaska was just, don't leave now.
Yeah,
you guys got to see it. It's certainly worth. And I'm not quite sure those videos aren't picking up. Expect them to get. And Louisiana, I email me because I've got some ideas on trafficking videos. So I was going to talk to you about it when you came up, but email me on that. There's another. My mom wants us to talk about ice safety. I don't know. I've spent a lot of time on the videos talking about ice safety.
You get me started on ice safety, you might have trouble shutting me up.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead.
Because boy, it is a major deal for you and your dog and everybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if you're going to go do an ice hunt, you definitely, you know, because I mean, like you said, that's a subject we can get into for hours, but you just need to make sure you handle your P's and Q's, and you got a plan, and you got another plan, and another plan, and just.
Well, the problem with what we've been doing with these goose videos on the river is that you've got a pretty substantial current going underneath the ice. It is so, you have to be so careful. I mean, in the few times we went out, Dan fell through, and that time when Dan fell through, I didn't really, it was actually an extremely dangerous thing. Dan went off in an area that I just didn't think that he would not need to be told not to go over there. Little sliver of ice, open water, and he walked right into it. And I didn't think anyone would go over there. And when he fell in, I don't know how deep it was over there, but he fell kind of butt first. In a situation like that is if you fall butt first in a thing and you go all the way under, by the time you pop back up, even if it's not over your head,
Yeah.
That's what's so scary about it. And then there was another one when the hunt where Aiden and Charlie and I did so well. Charlie took a couple guys out there a few days later, and there was a lot more ice that was quite a bit deeper that we completely stayed out of over there. And this guy walked over there, and again, Charlie had no idea he was going to walk over there. It was just seemed to him like a no-brainer. No one would. I mean, when you're in those situations, you see areas and they just look like, okay, obviously we don't go in that spot. Through, and he never did touch the bottom, but he just had his arms cup up on the ice, and he could feel them, and his buddies were able to hold a stick out to him and pull him out. But I mean, if you go under there, like I said, even if it's like chest deep and you get sucked 3-4 yards to where you're under ice, that's terrifying.
Yeah, you're right.
So, I mean, you always have to be careful, whether it's lakes or ponds, but when you're talking rivers like we're doing with currents,
current's still there even though the ice is frozen.
The current's still there, so the ice is frozen. And ice does really, really weird things. You can never, ever trust ice because there's just little pockets that it just does the weirdest things. I don't know if you guys have been around it much. It moans and it groans and it cracks, and you can get ice that's really thick, and then right beside it you can get these little white pockets, and I don't know what forms them. White pockets, and if you step into them, you just go right through. We saw those out. Now it was only like calf deep. Aiden actually stepped in one. So it's just so incredibly important, especially on those rivers with currents. So I told Aiden, we can't get in the habit, no matter how many ducks are on a hole, we've got to be disciplined, because we went out, actually the hunt we just released today I don't know if you guys saw or not, one goose, we had a ton of ducks and geese located in the exact same spot that Dan and Aiden and I had shot, but we didn't do it because we were just scared of the ice conditions. And so you have to believe, you have to set your rules, live by those rules, and not deviate from them, because someone can die. It's no joke.
Well, yeah, that's true. And secondarily, you need to be concerned about your dog safety too. I mean, if the ice gets really thin someplace and your dog runs out on that, can you rescue that dog or not? And the other thing is your shot selection.
Yep.
If you've got areas that you cannot allow a goose or a duck to drop in and safely retrieve it, then you can't be shooting them in that spot, or don't hunt the spot at all. But there's just a lot to think of. And just like I checked a boat ramp today and it's open, okay? a couple of weeks ago, the sand had clogged that completely up. And that just shows you how those channels change. You know, they made a release, and I don't know if ice or something, but something cleared the sand out of there. So just because there isn't a hole there today does not mean there's not going to be a hole there. And when water washes up against ice, it goes down and digs a hole. And so it's really, you have to really be thinking not just about getting in there and shooting your limits. You've got to really be thinking about safety.
Yeah. And sometimes that moving sand, you can drop, like one time I dropped a calf deep into when sand is moved down the river, it's very, very loose and you can sink into it like mud. Calf deep on the river one time. And not only did I sink down the mud, but then it suctions to your leg. And so maybe mine not even quite calf deep, but I had problems even getting my foot out. It's just the river does really strange, unusual things around ice. Unpredictable, strange, unusual things.
Yeah, there are probably several other stories we could tell about the safety and everything, but we may not want to spend the time on it. But there's just a lot to think of. We've lost equipment. I lost a shotgun and a layout blind.
Because I overfilled a sled.
Yeah,
and it tipped over, and I fell down, and it was a mess.
I didn't want to say whose fault it was.
It was me. That was a battle. We had a great hunt, and I was coming back across some open water, and I had overpacked the sled. The sled filled with water, and it tipped over, and then I fell over. I mean, it was only waist deep water, but at one point I was using the decoy bag like a flotation device, swimming down the river trying to
get all your stuff.
We lost a bunch of gear, not as much as we could have, but then I'm on the bank, you know, it's like 20 degrees out and I'm soaking wet. You know.
Yeah. That's
what
we lost two shotguns. I feel like.
we lost two shotguns, but we found one of the two.
Yeah, his shotgun he has now, I was like, I have to find that shotgun. I have to find his shotgun. And we searched and searched, and finally we found it, and then we got out of there. He's there and came back and got him the next day because it was just such a mess. It was just such a mess. So any other questions, guys, and we'll try to hit those questions. Like I said, duck hunting, we've got 2 more videos. I just put out a video today where we didn't do very well, but I thought the video turned out interesting, at least, for a video that has no birds being harvested. And then
I didn't see it till like right before we got on here, so I'm gonna watch it as soon as I get off here. But
yeah,
I mean, for me, I have a hunt with the veterans coming out soon. As soon as the footage gets here, I'll have that once I get that done. And then whatever happens Friday, Saturday, Sunday will definitely be coming up next week. And I'm also doing a few coyote hunts. I don't know if y'all are interested in seeing that. I don't know if, you know, this is strictly like all the fans out there like duck hunting on this channel or what, but I'm going to be doing a lot of that coyote hunting and fishing is where I'm kind of taking my channel for the summer and the off season, which I'm moving back to Louisiana. So I don't know how much I'm going to be able to do, but I'm going to try the best I can, you know.
Are you moving back there permanently?
Oh, yeah, 3 months. I'm done with the military, and I'll be headed home for good. So
nice. Is the whole family excited about that?
Oh, absolutely. My parents are so excited that Ren, my daughter, is going to be right down the road instead of 8 hours or 9 hours, you know. So, I mean, I'm looking forward to it because, you know, I got great friends that are in the channel right now and in the videos. But, man, I'm telling you, when we get home to Louisiana and we start putting those guys in these videos, it's a hoot because I've been growing up with these guys since I was 4 or 5 years old. So as soon as we get those guys in here, and I think the channel is going to have more of a personality type deal, you know.
Yeah, that's cool. That'll be interesting to watch. We've had a couple of questions go on and on about our kayaks after a full season of what we think of them, and I lost Fumble's video, but anyway, I am happier with the Ascend H12 kayak. I mean, that thing has done everything I've wanted it to do. It's been fantastic as a layout boat, as a transport boat. It has lived up to every expectation that I have asked it to live. It rides in the water well. I mean, that kayak with the redhead blind hidden and concealed than with that on there. So if I know, I'll get him out there. So if you're thinking about wanting to purchase the Ascend, I absolutely would recommend it. In fact, I'm trying to get Corn to buy one. It's just wonderful. Absolutely fantastic. So
it was running low on energy.
Jennifer said, "Are you getting sponsored by Shep-O-R-D?" I thought that's a funny comment.
Yeah, well, actually, it's no joke.
Yeah.
My plan is, I don't know whether it will happen or not, but my plan is to put together a montage of us eating Shep-O-R-D and me talking about it, and I'm gonna send it to him. I was saying, it didn't make the video, but I was saying, if I could have any sponsor out of anyone, Cabela's, Bass Pro, I just think it would be hilarious.
I would. I have an extra point probably.
I know I'm not.
I mean, those guys, they have big budgets. So yeah. I mean, it would mean not much for them just to throw me, a couple $100 a video. I just think it would be hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, all I have to do would be like one of the Shep-O-R-D guys, like hunting or something.
Yeah. Yeah. I am not sponsored by Shep-O-R-D. No, I want to be sponsored by Shep-O-R-D. Shaw just asked if I was sponsored by Shep-O-R-D. I want to be. So that's one of my off-season goals. And let's get into off-season goals. And I'll talk about mine first, and you can hit yours as far as my wife is harping at me. Fumbles is on my mom's phone. So that is, for some reason, a picture of my sister and my mom.
Yeah.
Where he went. My wife's in the background, like, tell people who that is. People are wondering. My sister and my mom. And Fumbles is bumbling, and stumbling over there. And who knows what he's doing. He'll pop back on. So I muted him. Anyway, one of my off-season goals is to make a collage of Shep-O-R-D clips and send it to Shep-O-R-D, and just I think that would be really funny. Another goal of mine is to get another GoPro and have it capturing us shooting. So I'm gonna have a GoPro setup I have this year, except I'm gonna have a GoPro that just gets us. So then I'll have that added in. And I'm not sure. I've got lots of plans for the Freelance HuntStats, and that is ongoing. So that's kind of just off the top of my head what my goals are for the channel and things I'm going to improve on. I've got lots of goals for the actual stuff I need to do hunting wise, but that's just my channel. How about you? What do you have any video hunt channel Marshrat goals and plans?
Like I said, I'm an outdoors channel, not strictly a duck hunting channel. So I'm going to bring in like coyote hunts, fishing. Pretty much everything I do is I'm going to try to bring into the channel type deal. Like I'm not trying to, compete with everybody. I'm just trying to, hey, this is what I do on a daily basis type deal. I know alligator season starts up in September, so we're going to try to get a lot of footage of that, even though it's only 30-day season. Like try to put everything in it and just get ready for that type stuff. So I'm gonna get a handy cam. I got 2 good cameras already, and I got a new computer coming in soon with a better software, so the quality is going to be a lot better type deal. I think my videos are lacking on that just because of the oldest computer I'm working with right now. So as soon as I get that new computer, I think that's definitely going to bring the quality up, because the quality is good on the cameras. It's just the software going into the, uploading.
Yeah. Well, I think that I think your videos are a lot more polished, and I think maybe some of it's just because of the cameras, but your videos seem a lot more polished at the end of the year than they were.
Right. And that's I think that's part of it. When you start to see more things, and if you keep watching it, trying to pick out the bad parts, you'll pick out the whole thing. If you keep watching the whole thing, you finally got to post and say, okay, here. But like I said, I've exceeded my expectations of this year with the channel. I'm excited to see where it goes,
Yeah. See if there's any more questions. Need some questions. I'm blanking on anything to talk about. Someone asked why I don't pigeon hunt. I was actually, and my rule has always kind of been, I'm actually a little bit tenderhearted when it comes. Like if we kill a goose and, but if I see him walking around wounded, it makes me feel kind of bad. I don't have an issue with taking one and killing, obviously, but just I'm a little bit tenderhearted. I'm not a big fan of killing animals I'm not going to eat or use. So for me to go and kill 50 pigeons and just leave them lay, or crows or something, that's just not something I personally like to do. I know if someone made a case to me as to harmfully affecting something like nuisance control, I could probably be talked into doing it, but it would have to be a case of nuisance control. I'm just not into going out and just killing things just for me personally.
Right.
What's your favorite duck, Dustin?
Well, it's got to be a woody.
Yeah.
I ain't never killed one before, but yeah, I'm gonna go to woody because I've never. So.
I love a good widgeon drake. I absolutely love a good widgeon drake.
Yeah, I killed my, well, I ain't gonna say my first one, but like my first two I remember. I killed them on that Florida hunt that I had posted, and man, it was there. I love widgeon because they're easy to call in.
Modern Wildman says, is FDH planning a snow goose trip again? Well, the place that we go to snow goose hunt is under renovation, so we're gonna go on that hunt. My uncle lives down there, so I'm gonna stay in contact with him. If there are snow goose there, we will absolutely go on that trip again. Now, Golden's got a bunch of snow goose socks. I'm gonna be searching for fields, and so there will be some snow goose videos. I don't know if we'll go on the actual camping snow goose trip that I absolutely love or not, but there will be some snow goose content. So first of all, after this weekend, I'm going to get out a video on Monday, video on Thursday, and that'll be the end of official FDH duck hunting season. After that, I'm going to take about a month off and just kind of not edit anything because I'm experiencing a little bit of burnout when it comes to editing. I've just pushed so hard to get out as many videos as I can, and month break on doing any editing at all. And then after that, we'll have some snow goose videos, some turkey videos. We're gonna do something on the Mo River. I don't think we're gonna do Candan Do It again. We'll do some. I'm gonna push the survival challenge, which I don't know if you guys do any of you know about the FDH survival challenge? If you know about it, just say yes and put it on there. I'm gonna push the FDH survival challenge, and we're gonna do another survival weekend content that we have going up. I doubt I'm going to do a bunch of fishing videos. Don't get many views, and so I think the content I put out probably won't put out quite as many off-season videos. Be doing stuff, but I'm really going to push that FDH survival challenge and see if I can get some people doing that and post their pictures on the website and that kind of. The FDH survival challenge is this: you go out, do at least 2 nights, and you don't take any food with you, and you just try to catch and gather whatever food you can to eat. We went on the Kansas River for ours, and if you haven't seen that video, it's under I'm trying to think how to find it. You can find it on my YouTube channel. I can't think of the easiest, quickest way to find it, but it's really, really, really fun. You just go out and you try to, capture your own food and eat whatever you can. If you do it and submit the video to me and film it, we're going to recognize you in some way as taking the FDH survival challenge. We'll talk a lot more about that. Would you ever do anything like that, Dustin? The survival challenge?
I wouldn't know where to go, man, and I would have to be in the marsh, so I'd have to be like on a boat, fishing, and then if we did camp out in the marsh, we got gators. And I'm not scared of gators, but I don't want to go camp out in the middle of the marsh with thousands of mosquitoes,
Yeah.
But if I was somewhere that had good camping areas and stuff, I definitely would. It's just everywhere where I live is just strictly marsh. So if you watch the Louisiana Hunt #1, you can see the mosquitoes in there in the winter. Like all the mosquitoes flying around in the morning view is just like, wow. I used to be like adapted to them, but now I don't like them.
Yeah. Who was it? Jesse says, "Why don't you make videos of your crazy stories over the summer?" Jesse, we do a lot of summer videos. If you want to see some interesting, crazy videos, do a playlist. Crazy stories and videos. So I would go watch those. Some of those Can Dan Do It videos are my very favorite videos that we've ever done. So go check those out. I'm hungry, so I think we're gonna shut this down. But I really appreciate you guys coming here to this live stream. We've been going about 56 minutes. Please don't forget, go over to Marshall Outdoors, check out his videos, subscribe to that channel. Better and better and better, and they're going to continue to get better as he goes forward. And also, if you want to come join Mason and myself over at Patreon, that link's in the description as well. For Video Monday, Video Thursday, and I'll probably do an end of the year live stream the next week, I imagine, after that, close out the season. But it has been a fantastic season. We have done really, really well. It's exceeded expectations, I'd say. Anything else you want to say before we cut out?
I just want to thank everybody for supporting my channel. You know, I know I'm a little low on the quality and stuff, but, you know, give me a chance. And, like, you know, if you want recipes, hit me up on my Instagram, and I can give you the recipes that I cook. Or if you want me to try to cook one of your recipes, I'll do that. So cooking is a big deal for me, so I like to take my channel forward in that aspect.
I love your cooking videos. I really do. I really like them.
Thank you. I put a lot of work into them because I really want to have it, you know. I love cooking. I grew up cooking, so to me, I cooked some duck poppers the other day for work, and they were like, "Wow, this is amazing!" And I'm like, "That means a lot, you know." When a lot of people who've never had duck eat duck and they like it, you know.
Yeah, yep, it's good. It's fantastic.
But
yeah, I'm gonna make those. I've never had this. After I saw you make them, I'm like, I'm gonna make those. I haven't, but I'm
simple, man. I think you just slow cook them. Don't try to cook them in like 350. Put the pit on 250, put them on top rack, and just kind of let them slow cook that.
Well, I'll probably just watch your video again and just
yeah, do that.
Show me step by step.
All right, yeah, I'm good. But just thanks everybody for, you know, following my channel, and we'll see where we go in the future.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks a lot, guys, and hope you guys have a good end of your season if it hasn't already stopped. And I'll check you guys out later.